We live. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It is not going to happen this video, but that's all right. I'm going to live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Y'all, she is on the clock right now, so she'll pop in and out as you know
I'm
we get.
here. Like, share, subscribe. I'm here though.
Girl, go to that meeting. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with her. Hi, Shani. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. But y'all, this is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 6, episode 9, Unicorn Overboard. We're just gonna start the first cuss out that I do of the whole video. So we are still on the below deck yacht. You know, it is day 3 of Heather's trip, and it seems like they've been on this yacht for a whole month. Like it really does. This is a long venture with this people. I know these people like y'all get your asses off these boats. But so at this point right now, the final day, the ladies have agreed to do a yoga class. There's only several of them. It was Whitney and Heather, Angie K, and Brittany. They decided to do a yoga class. And as they're doing a yoga class, we have a split scene with Meredith and Lisa. Meredith said that Brittany is very disgusting. She doesn't want anything else to do with her. And that she is also mad at Whitney. She said the fact that Whitney entertained this, Whitney's not her friend. And now she realizes that she has a problem now with Whitney. And I said, huh? Now, how Whitney get into it? Y'all, I don't see it for Whitney most of the time, but I'm just like, she brought it to Whitney. And I don't know what Meredith expected at this point. I was like, what were you, why are you more mad at Whitney than Brittany? I don't get it. So the ladies are doing their yoga with Captain Jason. And he's, doing the yoga moves and everything. And Heather's so excited. She goes, I can't wait to see his downward dog. And I'm like, Heather, see, this is why I can't take you serious at times. Because they already didn't let it be known, both Heather and Captain Jason, that nothing has ever happened between them, which I said that. I didn't believe that when she said it. That's why I was like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't. So Brittany is, because Heather looks over at Brittany. Brittany looks disheveled. She looks mad. She looks upset because she doesn't know what she did wrong. All she did was bring something to the table and just ask Meredith about it. And I said, Brittany, you have to understand where you messed up is you chose Meredith to have the issue with, not anyone else. Because Meredith is going to take everything personal and is just going to completely white woman the situation. And as another white woman who throws tantrums and cries on cue, you should know this, right? I don't understand why we're so confused by this. But she looked like she wasn't supposed to be a part of this yoga, thing. So Chef Captain Jason gives him his yoga mat and makes sure she does the exercise right, which I thought was very sweet of him to do. He didn't have to do that, but that's what he did. So after it, begins, Heather's trying to tell Brittany, don't worry about it, everything's gonna be fine. We have to go eat breakfast soon, so we'll just get a meal in us, and that would be it. Let me read some of these comments before I go to the next scene. Hey, Brittany got on my nerves sometimes, but I felt bad for her in this episode. I did too, and I didn't think I would ever just say that. Not with that. Yeah, I came with shady with that one. But so the next thing we see is them having breakfast. Wait, no, hold on. I'm skipping something. Let me go back. Rewind. Bronwyn with her messy ass. And Bronwyn, I'm calling you out this episode too because this was messy as fuck. Goes over to Meredith's little room, and Meredith opens the door. She goes, "Hi," and Bronwyn says, "I brought you a present." And Meredith was like, "I don't want that. I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful." So Brittany has this brilliant idea to throw it overboard, and she thinks that her and Meredith should dress up in the costumes that Bronwyn had bought. And I said, Bronwyn, you was really trying to get anybody and everybody, because first it didn't work with Angie. Now you try to get Meredith to wear the costumes. But they wear the costumes and they sneak up on deck, and Meredith throws it overboard. Now, mind you, I said Meredith. I want y'all to keep a note of that. Meredith throws it overboard. And I thought that was so messed up. I thought that was so wrong. To take this lady's property, Bronwyn, and then Meredith, for you to throw it overboard. I mean, y'all, I was so done. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about this scene?
I'm not for touching people's property in general. You'll never find a single person that will say that Amina has gotten mad at them and touched their property. Um, Even if it's something small, I just feel like if you didn't pay for it, don't touch it. But I don't know. I feel like Bronwyn did it to genuinely be funny because it was probably the thought of like, what 40 something year old woman is really tripping off of a unicorn from a nigga that don't like her that much anyway. But then I would say Meredith participating felt sinister, and Bronwyn
Yes,
should have known better. Because Meredith just be picking at Brittany for no reason. Like, nobody likes Brittany. Brittany doesn't even like Brittany, but like, you don't have to bully that girl.
absolutely. Agree 100%. So we get to the breakfast table. Everyone comes up for breakfast, and Brittany shows up last, and Brittany is seated right next to Mary. And Heather asks, "How's your toe doing, Meredith?" And she goes, "Oh, well, it's still bruised. I may need to actually go see a doctor when, I get back because, I don't want it to be filled with hatred like some of these people at this table." And Brittany looks at him like, "Oh, is she talking about me? Like, what the hell?" And she goes, "And speaking of hateful, Whitney, I have an issue with you as well. I have an issue with the fact that you engaged with Brittany in this TikTok situation." And Brittany was like, "Wait, don't get mad at Whitney. I'm the one that brought it up. You get mad at me." Mary was like, "I am not talking to you. I am not speaking to you." And so she turns back, and Whitney said, "Brittany, it's okay because I can handle this." Meredith, "I didn't give this any energy because I didn't think it was that big of a deal." She goes, "Okay, but you would sit with her and have this disgusting, hateful person talk about my marriage, and you just sit there and just listen." And she goes, "Meredith, it was nothing." And Brittany is trying to engage, and by this time, Meredith is flicking her hair back and giving, a roll of the neck to Whitney, and her hair touches Brittany. Brittany is better than I ever could have been, because when I tell you the next thing that would have happened is Meredith's chair would have tipped over. Because who are you throwing your hair at? So Brittany is trying to insert, and Brown was like, "No, Brittany, just don't do it. I'm trying to help you. Just don't do it." She goes, "No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit." And, she's sitting up in here and she's doing this. And then Brittany flicks her hair on Meredith. And Meredith said, "Do not touch me. I told you, do not put your hands on me." First of all, who are you pointing at? As I said, she got the right one because Brittany's not going to do anything, y'all. I'm sitting over looking at Brittany like, she didn't already assaulted you with her hair. I don't care if it was, I know people like that hair does not count. Yes, it does. Hair absolutely does count, especially when there's footage of her doing it first. It absolutely does count. That's touching her with her body. I don't care how petty it is. You still did it, which would have gave. So if Brittany would have slapped the shit out of her, I wouldn't have been mad. I really would not have been mad. So Meredith gets up and Whitney's like, "Let's just move. Let me switch over there and you come over here, Meredith." Meredith, "That's a great idea. That's a really good idea, Whitney, because um, if I engage with her anymore in this hatefulness and anybody else that supports her, I'm cutting you off too." And I was like, "Wait, are you serious?" Meredith said, "Yes, I am very serious right now." Wow. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was looking at Meredith, I'm like, "Oh my God, this can't get any worse than this because there is no way I could have been Brittany in that situation. I, I just couldn't. Like, Brittany is better than I ever could be. Like, Brittany, I have to give you a round of applause because the fact that that lady did all that yelling, all that pointing, and then taunting you by throwing her hair in your face and you did absolutely nothing. Brittany, come on now. You can't be like this. Like, you cannot be like this. So, the ladies were all like, "Okay, so it's, our time to leave. So we have to pack up everything and we have to go." So the ladies all escort themselves back to their rooms and they're all packing up. And as they're packing up, Brittany was like, "Where's the unicorn? Like, I don't see it. Like, I don't know. Did I lose it?" Like, Brittany doesn't know where the unicorn is. At the same time, Brahma's packing up her stuff, and Brahma says that, "I am so glad that I did not book a flight home with these ladies, that I chartered a different plane and got myself on a different flight because I don't want to go anywhere with them." So the ladies are all going to the front of the ship so they can all greet the crew members and thank them for everything that they have done. So As Heather is thanking him and thanking Captain Jason, she hands him a wad of money. Said, "Y'all have a good night on the town," and we'll just leave it at that. And as they're leaving, um, the cute little crew member, I cannot think of her name. Oh my god, it's slipping my mind. The little cute little lady that was helping them the entire time. She goes, "Wait, I found your unicorn." She goes, "Oh my god, my unicorn." She like, "Well, why is it wet?" She goes, "Well, it was in the water." She goes, "Who threw it overboard?" Daisy, thank you, Rose City 100. Thank you. Yes, Daisy. She goes, "Who threw it overboard?" And so Brittany went to everybody. She goes, "Hey, did you throw this? Angie, did you throw this overboard?" Then she walks off to Lisa, Mary, and Meredith, and she goes, and Bronwyn. And she goes, "Who did you guys throw this overboard?" Bronwyn felt guilty, and she said, "Yes, I threw it overboard." And she goes, Bronwyn said, "I really thought it was a joke and that you would laugh about it. I didn't think it would upset you." Brittany doesn't say anything, and she goes, and Meredith says, "Yeah, and I helped her throw it overboard." And Brittany says, "You helped her, Meredith?" She goes, "Yeah, I helped her throw it overboard. I just thinking that you got, makeup and everything all online. So I just figured he just needs some, a bath." Brittany's upset. She puts her head down. And I'm like, "Brittany, once again, this lady is showing you who she is." And I get they're not in the US, y'all. I don't know what the laws are for assaulting, Nevis or not Nevis, wherever the fuck they are. So I get it, Brittany. I get it. But Meredith, she would have at least had something thrown in her face or something. Because there's no way. There's just no way you're gonna disrespect me like this. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. There's just no way. So, Mrs. Best, now that you're back with us, and we thank you for joining us. If you have a moment, I just want you to. What would you have done if you found out at the moment that two of the ladies threw your personal item overboard? It got recovered, and then they confessed that they did it because they thought it would be funny. How would you feel?
DP Stokely would have came out. They would have felt the strength of 89th and Birch putting them right into the ocean. Don't touch my shit.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Just don't touch my stuff. I think that's the worst thing you could do to somebody. Attack people with their words, say whatever you have to say, but to touch someone else's property and then to make a joke about it, you calling yourself a waterbender, Meredith. Like, Meredith is a fucking bully. And I don't know how many times she's gonna show it to people and she get away with it, because as quiet as it's kept, the colorless audience would have been demanding that she be canceled if Meredith would have looked like Kenya Moore or something. Like,
That's a
enough.
good point. Great point. That is a great point because if Kenya did this, Kenya would have been fired. Kenya got fired for something that we now know in today's time wasn't even the situation. So, yeah, Meredith was whipping her hair in Brittany's face, which I feel like was a ground for assault. That's why I said I wouldn't have been mad. But Brittany's the right kind of person. Brittany wasn't going to do anything but just get offended. Now, had she did it to somebody else, I wouldn't have been mad if they slapped her. I really wouldn't have been mad. Like, y'all, like, she's
Or
threatening.
Brittany needs to play and come down to the women's level. Y'all bitches want to come for me and every new person that comes onto this show, then y'all need to hit them where it hurts in the same way. By coming at them, go to production. Oh, you want to attack me because I made a joke about your husband? Watch this. I would talk about him every time I'm on camera,
Me too.
about everything I see online to legally protect myself. So, Brittany, this is why I don't see it for Brittany. Brittany's annoying in the right way for entertainment on the Housewives, but certain stuff like being a shit mom, but like you can stand up to your kids, but you can't stand up to Meredith. That's how I look at her.
Right. Um, Shane said, "Don't flick your dog hair in my face," right? Um, Shani also said, "Meredith, was you that mad because of what Brittany was saying about Trev was true? Seth was true." I believe it's true. I believe they've been had like an open situation since season one. I believe it. I believe exactly what Lisa said. I was mad that she said it because I don't feel like you should out your friend like that. But I believe what Lisa said. I do. On her hot mic moment, I do. Thank you for letting me know her name was Daisy. I think Daisy saw what happened and didn't say nothing. Yeah, I could believe that. She looks sweet enough to do that. Meredith, aren't you a lawyer? Isn't that considered destruction of property? It is, actually. And I hope that she replaces that unicorn. I don't care how trifling it was. I hope she replaces it. Seth got a whole girlfriend. I really do think that they stay married for the camera purposes. I do. And then they go to their respectable situations. Because remember, Meredith is only in Utah when they're filming. And maybe she'll poke her head in every night to check on her little store. Seth is never here. Seth be everywhere else. And then when Brooks does now the New York show, she goes to New York to film that show. So I definitely don't think they're together. I just don't. I don't believe it. So um we then have this whole segment that we did not see. We did not hear anything. We didn't hear no audio. We didn't hear anything. But all we have are several of the ladies telling the same story. So when they got on the plane, Meredith became unhinged and she wanted to see the TikTok. And they all said that Meredith was screaming, talking about the TikTok and wanted to see it, demanded that Brittany show her, then asked Whitney to show her. And everybody, Mary, Whitney, Heather, and even Angie said that Meredith had lost her mind and she was going completely off. But Meredith's side of the story is that she was just talking with Lisa and just venting to her. And all Lisa could say was, Meredith, I didn't agree with the things that Meredith said, but she, we wanted Brittany to tell the truth and everything. And I'm like, nobody got any footage of this. Like nobody got anything. Now, here's the thing. Because I see what y'all are saying in here, Rose City 100. That's so fishy. Nobody filmed anything really. Why did any of them film or at least get some audio? I thought that was odd too. I thought it was odd that nobody got any footage of this because it's not like your cell phones are sworn to anything. I thought it was odd as well. Now, do I believe this happened? Yes. I 100% believe it because Meredith, we've seen her be unhinged. We've seen her when someone she doesn't like is put in front of her, what she would do. It's very simple. It's called, you can leave. It's very much that. So I absolutely can believe it based on history. If I have to base it solely on anything, it is history with Meredith. Now, because we didn't see it, it's their word against Meredith. Now, I don't believe 4 women, one noticeably that has not lied on anybody since she's been on the show, meaning Mary. I don't believe Mary would lie on Meredith. And that's her friend, keep in mind. I don't think Mary would lie about that. So, everyone's describing Brittany being distraught. Brittany being, having to be taken out of the plane by several people because she was hiding her face through her hair. We've seen her cry like this on the show before. So, it was crazy. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, do you believe this happened since we don't have any real proof of it?
Sorry, I'm in the store. Yes, I do think that something happened considering the flight attendants had to walk her out and through baggage claims into customs. They don't do that unless someone's been bothered, but then it takes a lot to get put off of a plane. So I do feel like Meredith did something, but she's probably smart and didn't do enough to get put off.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're in first class, you can get away with a lot more. But honestly, the only person I believe is Mary because nobody filmed it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
took up all
No.
of first class and not one person filmed it? That's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But based on Meredith's behavior, it tracks that she would do something like that. She's horrible.
I agree. Shani said, I don't know if them bitches was behind me, pulling my hair, kicking my chair, and pushing on it. I would have turned around and let them know I'm swinging if this chair move or my hair get pulled. Oh yeah, she did allege that. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I missed that. I left that part out. They were pulling on her hair. She had wine spilt on her. It was a lot. A lot happened on that plane. And like Shani said, it couldn't have been me because don't know me. I'm not a violent person by any means, y'all. I'm really not. I only go when provoked. But if my hair get pulled and wine gets spilled on me, that plane would have tipped over. Ain't nobody making it home at this point. So yeah, the air marshal would have been waiting for me to arrest me at that point. If that were me. I'm just saying. Because you're not gonna disrespect me on no plane. We already in confined space as it is. You wanna be belligerent, pull on my hair, push my chair. Oh, no, there's no way. Also, why did any of them ladies switch seats with her, like Angie or Whitney? That's also a good point because if y'all saw her and y'all saw all this happening for more than half the flight, why didn't anyone switch seats with Brittany? So yeah, we're gonna talk more about that when we get to them explaining everything. So the ladies make it home, and everyone is respectively talking about it. Whitney's talking about it with Justin, and Bronwyn is getting updated. She got updated by Mary, and Mary told her that Meredith has completely lost it on that plane. Like she went off on Brittany, and Mary said in that scene that she has her issues with Brittany, but she doesn't feel like Brittany deserved all of that. And no, Brittany didn't deserve all of that. Over a TikTok of someone saying that they saw your husband in an Uber with somebody, like she didn't deserve any of that. She just brought it to you because that's something that probably was sent to her. As y'all all get shit that's probably sent on each other. Whether you choose to speak about it or not, that's on you. But if I found somebody to send me something, I might be messy and say, hey, what's going on over there at the Mark's home? Because I heard on TikTok that your husband out there philandering. So what's going on? And then Lisa sitting in that egg and that shit on and participate with in the nonsense. She did. I feel like she did egg it on too. I do. I feel like she egged it on because Lisa gets tickled by shit like this. She does. So that's why I feel like she did do that too. I don't believe all four of them are lying. All four of them have the exact same story. So Whitney and Brahma meet up. And they meet up at this little restaurant. And, you know, Bronwyn is getting the story from Whitney now. She said she met up with Mary, and Mary told her, and Whitney asked, well, what did Mary say? And Bronwyn said pretty much, she said Meredith was unhinged and went in on Brittany and went on for a long time. And Whitney confirmed, yes, it did. It went on for a very long time. And she felt bad, for Brittany in that situation, and that Meredith was completely unhinged. So Bronwyn this says, well, it seems like Meredith and Todd can get a little etiquette on being on the plane. So Bronwyn then lets us know there was a little blog that came out on Twitter saying that someone sat behind Todd in the plane and peeked over and looked at what he was looking at in his phone and saw that he was looking at other women. Bronwyn confronted him with it, and he immediately blames the friend group of putting this shit out there and putting things on him that aren't necessarily true. Because remember, there was a rumbling that Todd may have been unfaithful last season, and probably Todd took that as okay, so they're already going to accuse me of shit. So pretty much deflecting. So it kind of makes me believe the friend rumor that Lisa was saying. I don't believe about the farting instance, but I do believe that there may have been something inappropriate because the way Bronwyn is acting, I think she may have believed it as well. So it turned into this conversation about, Bronwyn saying that if he is looking at another woman, that, she was mad that Lisa was the one to bring it to her because she wanted to be the one to say, yeah, and I picked him out for it. And I was like, wait, what? And Whitney said, yeah, I agree. There was times where I didn't want to be with Justin, and we had a little separation, and we came to each other and we were honest, and who knows, when the kids leave, I may want to be done with this and want to do something else, but we have to agree. Like Justin and I have to agree on the terms. Like we cannot just do this and that. And I'm looking at them two fools like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? What are y'all even saying? Like, I have to understand what that got to do with any. Just that y'all in some open marriages and y'all don't mind dibbling, dabbling, and in the swinger bill over there, Whitney and Brahma, because that's what it sounded like to me. Mrs. Best, if you're available to speak, did that sound like that to you? Because that conversation was weird as hell.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, because I'm connected to my car. Let me tell y'all this. If you got to do this, don't get married. The point of getting married is exclusive monogamy. It's either that or some spiritual shit. But if it's spiritual, it's likely related to monogamy. So I never understand why people get married and then do this. But when you get married for the wrong reason, you'll happily do this. Bitch, go, it's green. You will happily do stuff like this. It's giving y'all married your husbands for reasons outside of love. And now that your husbands is getting older, they probably, one, are not interested in you because it's a red flag for a man they age to have wanted you, Whitney. And then two, it's probably so much that has happened with Bronwyn and Todd. I don't feel like Bronwyn and Todd have an open relationship with all that she was doing for him, but I do feel like Todd has a history of wandering. If she was okay with him talking to other people, then last season she wouldn't have been crying and talking about how they had to work through his past discretions that he had. Brahma was right. She had the right person to talk to in Whitney, but both of your marriages are a joke. I would respect them more if they said they had an open marriage, but then I'd look at you like you may as well just have an open relationship forever because I don't get it. Open, what's the difference between an open marriage and like dating? Like aside from just living with the person.
You have legal paperwork on the other person. It makes it
No, I'm
harder to
talking
get.
about, we know the obvious reason, but like the legal paperwork, like if you're just going to see other people, then why tie yourself legally to one person? It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't make sense. And that's, and to me, I feel like there's more to Todd and Bronwyn. If we're speaking specifically about them, to me, I feel like maybe in the beginning there was like the like traditional wedding. I married a man, I'm in love and everything. And I think throughout time, it looked like, you know, beautiful arm candy that's younger than me. That's what I got from it. Because to me, like Rose City 100 says, I feel like that too. I don't feel like he really likes her. I think he loves his wife, but I don't think in the personality sense, I don't think he likes her. I really don't. I think that he tolerates her. And the more I'm looking at this, I feel like he's gonna pull a Kelsey Grammer and give this to like the way Kelsey Grammer gave Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to Camille that first season. I feel like this is what he's doing with Ron. I do. I feel like he's gonna get out. That's how I feel because to me, there's too many red flags here. Too many red flags, and there's too much shit coming out of nowhere. Like, why do we care that Todd was looking at some other woman in the airport on the seat of the plane? Not again. You know, we all have a little road rage at Shandy. Yes, that's she definitely doing that, but that's okay. Telling Bronwyn was dirt poor at making some shady choices, then met a richer older man. I don't think she was dirt poor because she came from money. Her father was like one of the editors or something at the temple in Oakland, and then Bronwyn was working in San Francisco. And when you work in San Francisco, you make money, especially in finances. You make money, so I don't think she was dirt poor.
She wasn't, but as someone that works in San Francisco currently, if I go to any other state, I make six figures. But in the Bay Area, even during the time that Bronwyn was working out here, six figures counts as low income. Like people on food stamps, you're making over 100K a year. So I feel like that is kind of a factor. I also feel like Bronwyn's family might have cut her off from the money or access that they have because of her choices and becoming pregnant in the way that she got pregnant. But, you know, could be anything also.
It could be, yeah. Yeah, it could be. And I don't know. I just I don't see that being. I do think that there were some key benefits of being with Todd. I don't think that that was the original end. I think that that just probably came with, you know, time. And it could be him that maybe didn't want her to work. You never know. You know, sometimes men, we have crazy ass stipulations too. Well, if I'm marrying you, I don't need you to work. I need you to be at home. She can't really cook, so I don't see her. I don't know what, you know, maybe he just need to ride back in here from the airport. Who knows? What about the charges against her that they dug up? But to me, that's isolated because I think those charges happened before him. And it just sounded like some shit that just had her name attached to it. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily mean she was the person who did it. That just means that she had some involvement. It could be cooperation. It could be, you know, just because she worked in the general facility. Because I believe this was all, aside from her eviction, all work related. So I don't think that that was.
So her case has been closed and sealed. So it doesn't matter. If it's something that happened like even 3 years ago, might care a little bit, but the case has mattered and solved. So even if we knew everything about the charges, it's like, what do we expect her to do? All she can do is tell us about it, or we read what there is. But We can't
I think
say or
he,
do much other than that. I don't know. Bronwyn's weird, but I don't
yeah,
think your charges are relevant to the show.
no, they're not. That was a reach that someone did. I do think he did stay for the little girl. I do think that he does look because he has his own kids. So I think that he loves being a parent. I do feel like that's definitely something. But yeah, we talked about this longer than I like to. Them two have to get on my nerves on the show. This episode, I don't know what it is about Whitney and Bronwyn. And I think it's just because Bronwyn was really messed up with what she did with Brittany. I think that's why I'm not seeing it for her tonight. But we're going to move on, y'all. So the next thing we have is Heather meets up with Brittany. And when Brittany walked in, Brittany, you could tell Brittany had been crying about this. It's only been a couple of days since they've been back. And Brittany looks so distraught. She don't know what she does. She says she has not slept. She has not eaten much. She is just really, really hurt. And, you know, Heather said that she's apologizing because she did see what happened. And she apologized the fact that she didn't really stick up for Brittany. And she said if there was ever a time where I did not choose you from, Meredith or Lisa, I am sorry. And you completely have my support. I am 100% on your side. And that made Brittany feel better that she at least has somebody in her corner. And she tells Heather, like, I'm just really surprised by Lisa because I stuck up for her. I had her back when everybody was going in on her. And they did play a flashback, and she did have her back. I cannot fault Brittany. Brittany had Lisa's back. Like, Brittany had Lisa's back probably more than Meredith did. And for Lisa to turn on Brittany for Meredith, one, Brittany, you should have saw that coming. Those two, you could tell, have had an alliance that they're not going to go against each other no matter what is brought to them. So you should have just picked up on that first instance that this was going to happen to you too. I don't know what makes you think you're exempt from Lisa's behavior or Lisa's loyalty to someone else. You're not exempt from that. Lisa's not going against Meredith. She's just not going to do it. So I did feel for Brittany. I did. But I need Brittany to get some backbone at this point. I need Brittany to learn how to read. I need Brittany to learn how to cuss people out. I need Brittany to learn how to point her finger just the same way Meredith was pointing her finger. I need Brittany to get it together at this point. Yes, it was upsetting that what Meredith did on that plane. Yes, it was upsetting that she threw your little unicorn overboard. Yes, all of that was upsetting. But Brittany, this is where the empathy starts to loosen up from me. And this is where James tells you to get it the fuck together. Because at the end of the day, you an overgrown ass woman. And you need to learn how to stick up for yourself. Don't let that lady bully you into submission like that. Don't let her bully you into thinking that you don't know your place on this show. Because let me explain something to you, Brittany. I'm going to keep it honest with you. And I don't even like you. But I'm going to keep it honest with you. Had it not been for you, half of these heifers wouldn't have a storyline. So you need to take that power. And you need to replace one of these heifers with a snowflake at this point. Because they have used you, literally mentally abused you, and did all this shit, all for you to sit here and just cry your way out of it. No, ma'am. You need to, like Rose City 100 or Rose City 0 said, grow up here and react. Because there's no way. I don't give a fuck if you got to pull Kenya Moore and pull her chair or something. Do something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you got to yank her by her extensions. Do something. But stop letting all them ladies bully you. Because it's very pathetic. And that's all really I have to say about that. Mrs. Best, anything else you want to add to this thing before I move on?
I'm just going to echo Rose City. Grow a pair and react. Stop being a weak bitch, Brittany. When people play with you, you play with them right back, or you give them a reason to know not to ever play with you again. But again, this lady has all the smoke for her kids and none for any adult. So she get what she deserves.
Yeah, and I think she did strike a nerve. I think that's why Meredith reacted the way she did. But that's why I say it wouldn't have been me. You wouldn't have reacted. I don't give a fuck. I ain't married to you, heifer. I said what I said. Is he out there cheating or is he faithful? TikTok bringing it up, not me. Get mad at the lady.
Because honestly, Brittany did the right thing. If I was a new cast member and this bitch was picking on me constantly, I'd be like, well, you have the most to say about me and mine. But at least Brittany coming on camera, keeping it real about her and Jared. It's clear that
Right.
she's delusional and he using her. But at least she comes on TV and shows that Meredith ain't gave us nothing legit ever. And when something did happen that Meredith could have like become likable with that hot mic moment, you not gonna go and forgive Lisa, but then be mad at this lady who cries at the thought of a tear. You're just not gonna do that. Stupid.
Exactly my point. So yeah, we're gonna move on, y'all. So Angie K and Electra. I almost call her girl Alexis. I don't know why I want to call her Alexis so bad, but Electra. Angie and Electra, she's packing because she's going to go to a tournament with the horses and everything. She rides and she does. I don't know what it is, y'all. Don't give me the lion. But Angie says, "Do you like my sweater? It's Greek." And Electra says, "I hate that you made that like your whole identity, and that you want me to embrace that too." And she said, "Yeah, it's because you're Greek. You have to understand that's your heritage. When I was a little girl, I had to do all of that. I had to go to church. I had to learn about my culture and everything. It was very important when I was a little girl, and I wanted to be important to you." And she goes, "But I it's not important to me right now. I this is what I want to do." And here's my thing. I understood what Electra was saying because Angie has made being Greek like a whole identity. There's a way to embrace your identity without you having to mention it. Like, I'm black if it's not obvious. But I'm not gonna sit up there and say I'm black this way, I'm black that way, unless I'm in a joking manner. Every time we turn around, Angie talking about Greek something, Greek this, Greek that. And I get what Electra is saying. Like, okay, like you are taking on a life of it that I don't want it to be an identity with me because of how it is. And I understand her. I do. I understood her. And I feel like Angie, you need to let her come into that on her own, the same way you did. I get you don't want her to be 50 understanding this, but at the end of the day, if that's how long it takes her, it's how long it takes her. I'd rather her do it at a point in her life where at least she did it versus trying to pressure her into doing it just because you didn't do it at a young age. Like, that's unfair. So I 100% saw this as like, you know what? I hope that she mirrors it and not pressures her daughter into doing it. Yes, it's important to know where you come from, but at the same time, this little girl's trying to find her own identity as being Electra versus being Electra being the half Greek or whatever the fuck Sean is. So I think that she's just trying to learn who she is, and you pressuring that on top of that, it's unwanted. Let her form a identity on her own, and then if she decides to engage with that, let her do it then. Mrs. West, how did you feel about that? Okay, she probably had to go on.
It's not that deep. Um, I don't really even care to discuss the scene. Electra is what, 12 or 13.
Hmm.
Let it go. If you wanted your kid to care about her culture, then you should have taught her about her culture from the time that she was born up till now. Otherwise, she's going to be a teenager and it's going to be what it is. I do agree with Rose that a lot of Angie K's scenes with her family feel forced. I still don't believe that she was really sleeping in a bed with that little girl and the dad for many years. I've never believed that. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say on it. It wasn't interesting, and I felt like it was a waste of camera time.
They had to throw Angie in there somewhere. So, that's what they did. But it did feel like a forced scene. But, I have to talk about it because it was on the show. So, the next thing we have is Heather. She is meeting up with Lisa. However, Lisa is about an hour and some change late, which would have pissed me off because you know what time we're supposed to meet up at this restaurant. I don't know why you playing with my time. Heather better than me. So, and when Lisa get there, they have the conversation about Brittany. Lisa has not checked on Brittany at all. She hasn't said anything. And Heather lets her know that Brittany is very upset about what happened. And Lisa's like, well, what happened? Like, it was just a conversation between me and Meredith. And Heather was like, the fuck? No, it was not. I was there. Meredith lost her fucking mind and was screaming and hollering at the top of her lungs. And then here you all go talking about Brittany, this is what you fucking get. You better show her the video. Lisa said, that is not what happened. That is not what I did. You bitches are not gonna put that on me. That is not what I happened. Was telling I was telling Brittany, if you have it, please show it to her so Meredith will let this go, let this go. It was not that. You're not gonna put that on me. She goes, Lisa, I was there and I know what I saw. So please don't do this. Like, you are crazy if you think that we did not see what we saw and we did not hear what we heard. We heard her. And y'all, and the truth of the matter is, Brittany was hurt. And for what? A TikTok? Lisa was like, that's not fair. Meredith, I didn't do anything once again. I love Brittany. I do. But at the end of the day, Meredith was, really hurt and she was just venting. It was all just a vent. That's all that she was doing. And I'm looking at Lisa like, okay. So you admit that Meredith was in a rage, but you're trying to say that Meredith was not coming for Brittany? Then who the fuck was she talking about? Then what was she talking? Why was she so insistent on people showing her the TikTok if that didn't nudge a bullet at her? Lisa, you be telling yourself without actually telling yourself. And this is why another reason why I believe Mary, Heather, Whitney, and Angie, because that doesn't make sense to me if Meredith was just venting to you. That's a casual conversation. Y'all were sitting right next to each other. It's first class. So why did she have to scream at the top of her lungs where everybody could hear her? It makes no sense. And this is once again why I'm mad at production or why I'm mad at somebody not getting the footage so we can assess for ourselves. Because one, Lisa's not trustworthy. And neither is Heather to some degree. But the way Heather is standing on it, I don't believe if it didn't happen that Heather would be so ready to back Brittany. That's the only reason why I'm trusting that this did happen, because y'all know Heather is ready to run to the Meredith and Lisa popular girl clique at any time. So the fact that Heather is standing on this, that they were wrong, makes me believe that this did happen the way that Heather is recalling it happening. And the fact that they're trying to put it off, because Lisa, this is what I believe. Meredith and Lisa got together and coerced the story and made sure that they stayed true to that story. Because when we get to the Meredith scene, it's the same exact thing. They want people to say like, oh, that didn't happen that way. Well, how would you know you were asleep? They both said the same thing. So yeah, it was crazy. I was looking at Lisa like, and when Heather got fed up, she goes, I'm sick of all this. So Hannah said, well, get your ass up and leave. You was late anyway. She goes, oh no, I'm gonna finish my drink. She goes, okay then. I don't understand what the big deal is. It just admit you were wrong and just be done with it. Why are we going around in loops about who did what and who heard what? I was there. So yeah, it was crazy. Shani said, if you got Mary saying that they were being mean to that girl and that she could hear what they were saying, then yeah, they were doing all that shit to that girl. I believe it. Based on Heather's action and the fact that Mary does not lie, y'all. Mary does not lie. And if Mary said, and that, once again, Meredith is Mary's friend. So if Mary said about her own friend and she don't even like Brittany, then you know it had to be true. Like, they're not going to make that up. Like, I'm sorry, they're just not. And they always have film of the housewives traveling on the planes. Why not this time? That's what I'm saying. Maybe because of what time it was, because production does have to go down at a certain time. Like, if y'all notice, they don't film past a certain time because these people have lives too.
They have cell phones and they're on the flight with the women. I think it's just one of those things where instead of talking it into the ground, there's no footage, so all you can go off of is credibility. There is only one credible person on this show who has proven, even when it comes to their own family and situations, they will not lie, and that is Mary. I'm also getting tired of discussing week after week Lisa freaking out when she's pointed out or caught doing something. We know that Lisa's going to freak out and scream every time that something happens that she's involved in that's negative. And the same thing with Meredith. She panics, freaks out, and then plays poor white woman victim. So, yeah. That's all I have to say on this.
No, I agree. Thank you for sharing that. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. They kind of leave it as is. So, now the final scene, which, y'all, I'm sorry, the most gaslighting shit I've ever seen in my life. Mary does not tell pork pies are bags of trout. That's a lie from the house. Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, I know that lie. So Mary meets up with Meredith. And you could tell this was cut up weird because Mary looked like she had on the same outfit that she had on when she met up with Brown. So I don't know what they were doing here, but okay. So Mary meets up with Meredith. And Mary asks if Meredith, are you okay? And Mary says, I'm fine. And so Mary said, the reason why I say that, Meredith, is because the way you acted on that plane, it just seemed like it was unlike you. So what's going on? Well, Meredith goes, well, I don't know what you saw or heard. And she goes, no, don't do that because I was there and I heard you. And she goes, well, Mary, how could you have heard me when you weren't even near me? You were on the other side of the plane. She goes, Meredith, I was right across from you and I heard you. She goes, well, then, Mary, I don't know what you heard because you were asleep. So how can you hear me and you were asleep? She goes, Meredith, every time I got up, I heard you. You were loud. She goes, Mary, it did not go on for that long. It was probably 15 minutes. She goes, okay, but still, I still heard you. She goes, I don't believe that, Mary. You weren't even nowhere close to me. You would have had to have gotten up and looked over. So I said, Meredith, I get you in attorney mode right now. And I get you not trying to incriminate yourself on national TV. I get that. But let's not play semantics here. First class is not that big, y'all, on any plane. That section is not that large. So I was so happy when production, in Mary's favor, posted the seating chart. Because for me, I was like, wait a minute, Meredith, you're not going to do this. So I'm going to post it here. And I'm going to show y'all. So, as you can see, Angie was up in the first row. Mary and Whitney are sitting next to each other. Brittany is sitting on the right of them. Lisa and Meredith are behind Brittany. And then Heather is sitting there. So you mean to tell me, Meredith, that Mary cannot hear you one row up to the left? You mean to tell me that she wouldn't be able to hear you from there? Meredith, cut that shit out. Like, like for real. That was the most gaslighting thing I've ever seen on TV. Like, you sit here in this woman's face, and instead of you just saying, you know what, I'm not gonna do, you my friend. I'm sorry I acted that way. Like it was just, I was in the moment. Because I don't think Mary would lie to Meredith, y'all. I don't think she's really that person. Like I just don't think she really is. So Mary then tells her, well, do you feel like you should apologize to Brittany? And she goes, do you think I should apologize, Mary? She goes, for yourself, your reputation. Yeah, I think you need to say, Brittany, I'm sorry. Like, I really do think that you need to apologize. And then the episode goes on. Y'all, I can't with Meredith, y'all. I cannot stand when people sit there and try to make you feel like you didn't hear what you heard or you didn't see what you saw. There's nothing more aggravating to me than someone that would do that. From where Whitney is sitting, it looks like she heard and saw everything. They're literally a row from each other. And I'm sure where Mary was sitting, Mary could peek through the crack. Look past Heather and see.
It's majority versus minority. The majority of people are saying that they saw Lisa involved in some bullshit and Meredith acting like a spoiled prick on a plane and harassing and bullying a woman to certain extents. If I were Brittany, I would utilize the flight attendants while production's nearby. Be like, if I need you to make a statement, would you do that, just to freak people out? Because that's workplace harassment. You took it and got physical. It's something so much bigger. If anyone did half of what Meredith alleges that she did do, not even the worst of what we're hearing from everybody else. Let's say it's just what Meredith said it was. You are still bullying that girl and you are harassing her. How hard is it for you to sit your narrow ass on a flight, put some headphones on, and shut the fuck up? Why are you amped up for a whole flight? And even if it's for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, why are you amped up for 15, 20, or 30 minutes because a bitch say something about your husband? Your problem is with your husband, not the bitch. Go to the smoke where the fire started from in your household. So I don't understand Meredith's behavior. I also kind of looked at Mary. I might be the only person who was disappointed in Mary's response to Meredith. Because Mary, you be acting like you can have a smoke, but it seemed like you was treading lightly when talking to her. Stop saying, oh, maybe you don't remember it. I was just concerned you didn't remember it. Mary, don't bullshit. You know she remembers what she did, and you know that she's not going to admit it. So I don't know what it is with everybody on this cast, Mary included, that feels like they have to dumb it down and ease it on for Meredith. But when you treat people like shit, and you on TV, you have to be accountable for that. And she's thinking that because this one thing wasn't filmed that it's problematic, but she has a history of doing this. Y'all could point out a history to Monica. You could point out a history of behavior to Jen Shaw. You can point out histories of behaviors to Mary when she left and came back. But you can't seem to point it ever at Meredith or Lisa. They can go. No shade, not to get deep, but white women like this are exactly what the fuck is wrong with the country and the fucking world. You cannot treat people however you want and then think that you're going to get on TV and gaslight us into forgetting that you have a history of treating people like this. I'm annoyed with Meredith, and I hope that Brittany, like if I was Brittany, I'd come to the reunion with a motherfucking super soaker and just unleash on her. Who's the waterbender now, bitch? But Brittany is, you know, timid, and Meredith is a bully, part hugely because she knows she can get away with this with Brittany. Meredith wouldn't dare do this to Whitney. She wouldn't dare do it to Jen Shaw. She wouldn't dare do it to Monica. She was the quietest with Monica. So I don't like a bully like this.
I don't either. And I'm gonna say it like this. Hi, Kevin Reynolds. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I'm gonna say it like this. I feel like Meredith didn't pick it out with Monica because one, Monica looked like she'll fight. You know, regardless on TV or not, Monica looked like she would just punch her, just straight out. And I feel like Meredith knows that, and Meredith ain't trying to have that smoke. She ain't gonna come after Mary. You know, she's just not gonna do it. She's not, you know, I think Meredith knows sugar from salt. She's not gonna fuck with people that, you know, she know won't get her. And I think with Mary in this scene, I think this scene was forced by production. Because I feel like nobody else wanted to film Meredith at this point.
Talk to her.
Yeah.
I
feel like Mary went with, because she knew Meredith was going to do that whole attorney talk where she's not going to get a real answer from her. So I think Mary treaded lightly because she knew Meredith was going to come with that bullshit. You have to understand, when people come with attorney talk, I get why people will be like cautious, because you're like, you don't know what answer you about to get, and the answer you feel like you may get may be some bullshit. So yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all, Meredith can go to hell after this episode. I don't really care anymore. I don't see it for Meredith. This was absolutely crazy that you went and bullied that girl. You and Lisa, no matter how much she thought her neck was clean from this shit, you just as guilty as Meredith, if not worse. Because you should have told Meredith to shut her ass up and put on her headphones and just went to sleep. We got a long way ass on. Why are you yelling and hollering for this plan?
Why do you tell your friends that is the thing too? So I feel like that's the other thing. Once you get to a certain age, it's like you shouldn't have to tell your friends to act a certain way. But Lisa didn't do that because she was right there berating Brittany and coming for Brittany. Mm-hmm. Meredith and Lisa, they're the worst. And the fact that these brands keep giving them deals and stuff like that is a joke.
It's crazy.
That people support them is exactly why, like, bullying and people's bad behavior is so, like, common. Because it doesn't make any sense. And then, Lisa, you got some fucking nerve, bitch. You supposed to be Mormon. Go repent. Lord.
But yeah, but that was the episode. Yeah, that was the episode, y'all. It was crazy. It was like, I just like, wow. Like, I honestly, I almost got as mad as I did when Tammy bullied that girl on Basketball Wives. Because I felt so bad for Brittany. Even though I don't like Brittany, I felt really bad for her. Because I felt like, once again, Brittany, you need to learn how to
say I feel really bad for her. I think you got to be careful with that, because Brittany is also not a victim. If you bring up somebody's husband, bitch, because she's been married before, just the way she flip out when Jared comes out, which is exactly why she was trying to get back at Meredith with this, because she don't like what's being said. But if you get at somebody's husband specifically and the father of her kids, Jared is not the father of Brittany's kids. Jared is not engaged to Brittany. None of that. Then you got to expect people to flip out. Doesn't make Meredith's reaction okay, Because come at people when they come at you. Don't just be fucking with them for no reason when they're minding their business.
Right.
But the hell do you expect when you play with people's families? What do you
No,
expect, Britt?
I get what you're saying. No, I 100% agree with that. I just feel like for me, it doesn't mean that they should tag team on her and bully her, make her
No, that's what
submit to them.
I literally just don't ignore part of my sentence because I just said that it doesn't make what they did okay to her. But Brittany gives me the type of person who will taunt you and poke you and push you and throw mud on you until one day you snap. And if you snap on her, I feel like no matter how big or small the reaction, she would have reacted the same way she did with being harassed by Meredith. So that's why it makes it kind of hard. I think when I'm looking at like comments and fans' receptions to the episode, a lot of people are like, okay, Meredith's doing too much, but not willing to like
But
cancel her or
see,
just call her some sort of a bully because she is. But then it's like, Brittany, this lady has shown you how she is. She's shown you she don't like you. She's shown you not to talk to her. And whenever you can, you come and you talk to her. But then Meredith has no fucking self-control either because it tells me I could tell one small lie about Meredith or just mention something I saw in the press that is true and she'll lose her shit. Like when she tried to paint Jen Shaw as being like homophobic or something in earlier seasons. Like Meredith
right.
does too much and so does Brittany. And so I'm looking at them like they're like a numerical equation and just canceling each other out because the math doesn't make sense.
Well, no, the math doesn't make sense. No, I agree with you, and I'm sorry that I didn't try to dismiss your sentence. What I'm saying is, before I was leading into that, I felt like to me, some of that should have went to Bronwyn too, from Brittany's standpoint, because Bronwyn is the reason why this shit even happened in the first fucking place. So I feel like some of that should have been directed towards Bronwyn. I feel like at the reunion, Brittany, this is what I expect from you. I feel like you need to cuss Bronwyn the fuck out because Bronwyn started this shit. Even though that conversation was between you and Bronwyn. And it wasn't even Mad Day, and Bronwyn just filled it out. So I kind of feel like Bronwyn should get the heat for some of this.
I feel like Bronwyn did get the heat for some of it, but you can only give Bronwyn so much. Just because someone starts something doesn't mean that you expect what was started for people to just start bullying and going crazy on each other. So I get what you're saying, but Bronwyn's being held accountable, but there's only so much you could do. Bronwyn wasn't harassing
Yeah.
people on the plane and all of that. Because when I look online, I'm seeing people saying that Bronwyn was tripping, Bronwyn was wrong to do that, but Bronwyn has not harassed or bullied anybody and thrown water on people and all this crazy. She threw a damn unicorn in the ocean that should have stayed there, and I'm wondering how they caught it. But
Well, yeah, well, to that same point, though, that is like, to me, that's intimidation. The fact that you can sit there and go into my personal belongings and think that there would be no repercussions for you stealing from me. Like, to me, I feel like Bronwyn, and that's the thing, that's why I said, I feel like if she needed to cuss her out, it's for that reason only. It's the fact
But
that
we
you feel
passed
comfortable.
that. She better not come back past that at the damn reunion and curse her out over that because that's going to be like the most tired and smallest thing compared to everything else that has happened on here, in my opinion. Like, nobody gives a fuck about the like little unicorn being thrown into the ocean, and nobody really gives a fuck, especially because Bronwyn was accountable for it, apologized for it, admitted to it. She immediately tried to step in and be like, oh, this was me. Also, Brittany and Bronwyn don't have the best interactions,
True.
but Bronwyn don't need to give her nothing. And if Brittany cusses her out for it later, it's gonna be like we're just gonna laugh and nobody's gonna care on the reunion because it's one of those things with Brittany where it's like, girl, too little, too late. But the person who really came for Brittany in a way that like goes past the nobody give a fuck about no fucking unicorn being thrown in the ocean. I don't see how anybody would think of that as intimidation. People don't think like a court like they're in a court of law unless they're actually in a court of law, and a unicorn ain't gonna bring that up. So yes, in a court of law, it could count as that, but more so, I don't even think that would hold up because if Brahman would have continued to fuck with the girl, fine, but it was Meredith who did. So Meredith really is the aggressor, but I I'm just wanting to know if Meredith will finally be accountable at a reunion, because Meredith has never admitted when she was wrong, in my opinion. Like, never.
So Natasha Cooper 4970. I don't know if I know you. Hi, welcome to my channel. If I don't, she said, "Nah, Bromwich shouldn't do anything. Brittany got what she got for talking about Meredith's husband." Period.
Thank you, Natasha, because that's how I feel. And I'm not saying that bullying is okay, especially if the girl's not engaging with you. Don't be shaking her seat and doing all that extra shit while on the plane. However, comma, if you talk about someone's husband and the father of their kids because you mad somebody made a joke about a nigga that don't care about you, what do you expect? It's up. It's up. And if the tables were turned, I feel like Brittany would feel the same way. That's why I said earlier, Brittany is the type of bitch that likes to throw rocks and hide her hands, or she'll
Mm-hmm.
throw a rock at you. And if you throw a rock back at her, she's going to cry and forget that she threw the rock at you first. So that's why I'm like, I don't feel too bad for Brittany, but I also don't feel too bad for Meredith. They're both fucked up. They're both wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of their men like them. They have a lot in common.
Here's the thing. That's why I said I'm kind of one compartmentalizing things because to me, I don't feel like it shouldn't have gone beyond the island. I don't feel like it should have been taken onto the plane. So that's why I said I wish
That's
we would have
true.
saw it.
That's true.
I wish we would have saw the footage. Like I wish there was footage because right now I'm speculating, you guys, and from based on what everyone is saying, Meredith is the aggressor. So yes, Brittany may have started it, but it should have stayed at that island. You got your get back when you threw her unicorn in the water. She didn't do nothing to you after that. So to me, that should have been done there. That's where I'm kind of leaning at
You
y'all.
gotta
Like,
understand though, as someone married, throwing a unicorn in the water does not make up for someone reigniting public knowledge that comes for a marriage, regardless. Because I don't think Seth liked Meredith that much. He probably do got a side chick, but I would not expect for my coworkers to just be bringing that up because they're mad I don't like them because I'm a dingbat. And Brittany has to understand that. I feel like Brittany brought up Meredith's situation because she didn't like that Meredith did not like her, was vocal about it. But also Meredith was very vocal about the Jared thing because Brittany's acting like a damn dingbat when it come to him.
yeah, no, we all can
Like,
agree with that. Yeah,
it's like you getting mad because someone's talking about your sometimes boyfriend. And when I say sometimes boyfriend, I mean they together one day and they not together the
right,
next
right.
day. To then bring up someone's husband and father of their kids, the weight did not match. And I think that's why Meredith is so mad. But you don't have to go and do all of that. If you was gonna shake the table, you should have shook the boat, Meredith, not the girl on the plane. And that's where
That's what
Meredith
I'm
fucked up.
saying. Yeah, that's where she's fucked up. That's why I say, y'all, I get Brittany did this to herself. But if Meredith was really about it, why you didn't confront her when she confronted you about her unicorn getting thrown in the water? She said, because I would have said, that's what you get for bringing up my husband. Didn't nobody tell you to do that? So yeah, I threw what your man gave you in the water. What you gonna do? That's what I would have wanted her to do. But Meredith is smart and she's strategic. She knew them cameras weren't gonna be on that damn play, and that's when she did her get back because it's now your word against hers. I
Meredith's
don't. Yeah,
problem is
yeah.
her word against hers means nothing when we've seen you crash out like a crazy psychotic white lady on camera
That's
for so
my
many
point.
times. Yeah. We don't
Yes.
care. We just don't care at all. But I don't think Meredith knew how to get back without throwing that thing in the water. I feel like that was more for Bronwyn. I don't think Meredith knows how to get back at this lady without screaming, hollering, or doing some shit that she knows is illegal off camera.
No, just invite her out to dinner and watch and make sure Jared is there with the new girlfriend. That's all you got to do. That's get back right there. That's some shit I would do. Like that's what I would do. Like I'm like, oh, so Brittany, my marriage ain't great. Well, let's have dinner. And oh, look who over there at table number 3 right there. Look at Jared, that old blonde girl he with. Ain't she pretty? That's me, but that's how I am. So that's get back for me.
I will
Now,
wait till she's in a real relationship and get back. Like, but I'm a Gemini. We could hold a grudge. We
she
could
probably
wait.
ain't going. She ain't gonna ever get no real relationship. She's gonna be with that man on and off until the end of time. Um, and I don't like either of them. Meredith just did too much, which I think the rumor must be true. I think so too.
There's not a soul on the planet that think that one rumor is not true. Even before the rumor came out and was rumoring, we thought that Seth had other stuff going on. Because would
Mm-hmm.
you want to look at and hear Meredith all the time from that tub? Nope.
Privilege to the white women, definitely similarities between them. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Love the reviews, love from Chicago. I agree with you, girl. But me, that hair throw, that boat would have been turned. We don't play the game. Yes, I would have got her then. If it were me
If
with Mary throw there, yeah, I would have got her then. I would have, yeah, like Captain Jason would have to just excuse me for a couple of minutes because that, like, I would have pulled a King and more, and that chair would have just tipped over.
if you
Because, yeah.
touch me, and I said this earlier in the live, if you touch me, we got a problem. But these women have these like delayed responses.
Yes, it's weird.
It's
It's
to
the strangest
everything.
thing. It's like I know
Because you
you
know,
saw
that's how
that.
you know they're talking about the show. And this is my problem with Salt Lake City. These women are so desperate to produce and keep their show interesting. On one hand, it helps, but then on the other hand, it causes for delayed reactions if you got to go talk about shit. And then later on, you're like, I should have done that. I'm going to do it on the plane. Like, what? No. If you mad about somebody playing with your husband, that's okay. And bring it up in that moment, Meredith.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe
Exactly.
her hearing aids wasn't charged or something. I don't know.
Meredith's hype off camera. She don't want no legal actions, but she took it too far. I think she did too. That's just my opinion. Like that lady didn't deserve all that. Like not on no plane in El secluded area. But once again, Brittany, this is why I said you gotta be on your P's and Q's. There's no way she would have did that on the plane because then the plane would have been missing a wing. That's all I know. He tries so hard and she doesn't seem interesting. Seth is definitely bugging someone else. I said that from the beginning. I wish I had my channel for season one. I wish I had my channel season one. I really did. Because I've been saying that on blogs. I've been saying that on comment sections. That man don't want that woman, and she don't want him either. They together for obligations. Neither one of them want to pay each other. That's just what it is. Married them. I ain't gonna say all that, but I'm just saying there's
I'm surprised
definitely
Meredith's allowed to be a housewife of Salt Lake City when she lives full time mostly in New York. She's only in Salt Lake City for a couple months. So I'm like, why are you here? You don't represent this place at all.
I don't know. I don't know. The only thing I know about Salt Lake City in its original form is that it was built around Mary. That's the only thing I know about Salt. I don't know how they got all these women. I really
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying, it's like, it's one thing if you live in like Park City or like one of the metro areas, like outside of Salt Lake City, but you live in another state most of the year, bitch. You shouldn't even be here as quiet as it's kept. But what can we do?
Meredith had her Lisa, her bulldog. They both jumped Brittany when they had her corner, which is why I would have shocked the hell out of them. But yeah, like Mrs. Best said, if you don't bring you a super soaker or something and fuck Meredith up with it, you might as well kiss this goodbye. That's exactly what I would do too. When I tell y'all she wouldn't even see that shit coming, I would spray the hell out of her. Yeah. Brown was setting herself up to get her bag from Todd and get her own bag from the show. Go girl.
That's what a lot of them do. They come on the
That's a
show
lot of
and they
yeah.
ready to leave them.
Yeah.
That was
I about
clear
to
from
say,
the beginning.
yeah, Camille Grammer set the pace for that. She really did. Like she set the pace for getting a good settlement because she got a good ass settlement from Kelsey Grammer. Like I was like, damn, girl, that shit hurt my feelings. And then got checked from the shoulder the time she was on it. So yeah, no prenup. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't get one. But you know, but to me, she got too many dad. Robin got too many daddy issues and too many parent issues. I don't think she's gonna leave Todd right away. Like I think this is going to go on. She probably gonna do the Ashley Darby shit, where this shit is going to drag and drag and drag and drag until we're like, oh my fucking god, we don't care. I really do. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Brown because there's a lot of similarities between her marriage with Ashley Darby's marriage to Michael. There's a lot of similarities. Except Todd isn't disgusting like that. That's the only. At least I don't know. We don't really know Todd that way, but I don't picture him being disgusting like Michael was. So yeah, but yeah. But that's pretty much it, y'all. That was Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This was a good time, y'all. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so much to everyone who commented in the chat. Shout out to the replay gang. I appreciate y'all as well. Do me a solid, like the video, tell a friend, get my subscriber count up because I need to get monetized, y'all. I've been doing this for a while, me and Mrs. Best both. So please, do what you do. That mom will be in her own apartment and make sure the dad bill is paid, period. She better clock it. I don't think her dad is no longer with us. If you're talking about Bronwyn. But yeah, that mama will be up in Shady Pines for sure. I would put her right up in there with Sophia Petrillo. I sure would. Wouldn't care nothing about it. But I might Appreciate you guys once again. Thank you. And I'll see you guys on my next recap. Bye bye.